Physical significance of entropy. Entropy is a measure of randomness or disorder of a system. Greater the randomness, higher is the entropy of the system. Fill in the blank question. For a given substance, the entropy of the system is minimum for a crystalline solid, a solid state, while maximum for the gaseous state. Another fill in the blank question. The liquid state possesses an intermediate value. This is because in crystalline solids, the constituent particles are arranged in a well-ordered fashion and the randomness is minimum. Therefore, entropy is also minimum. In the gaseous state, the constituent particles or molecules are free to move. The space available to them. Thus, the randomness is maximum for the gaseous state and consequently the entropy is maximum. In a liquid state, the constituent particles are free to move, but they can move only within the boundary of the liquid. Therefore, randomness is less in liquid state compared to the gaseous state. Give reason question can be asked from here. Give reason. This is why the entropy of a substance in a liquid state is in between the entropies of the substance in a crystalline solid and the gaseous state, or why the entropy in gaseous is maximum and in the solid is minimum. That is another way to ask give reason question. For example, entropy of the gas is the maximum. After that it is liquid, then after that it is solid. That is the solid is having the less entropy. Entropy and spontaneity of a process. A spontaneous process is accompanied by an increase in the randomness or the disorder of the system. Since increase in the randomness or disorder of the system is measured in terms of the increase in entropy of the system, the value and the sign of delta S may be used to discuss the spontaneity of the process. Since the increase in the randomness is always favors spontaneous change, it may be thought that the process having positive value of delta S are feasible and occur spontaneously. That is one conclusion. That means if delta S is possible, that reaction is feasible or spontaneous. Let us consider the entropy change of the following system. 1. For an isolated system. For a spontaneous process occurring in an isolated system, the entropy change delta S of the system is positive. Fill in the blank question. For isolated system, the value of entropy is positive. 2. For open and closed system, in such a system involve exchange of matter or energy or both with the surrounding. We know that open or closed system they exchange matter, whereas isolated system there is no exchange of matter at all. In such cases, we need to consider the entropy changes of both the system and the surrounding, because from the system to the surrounding either matter or the energy is transferred. Thus, the total entropy change, that is delta S total, will be equal to the sum of the changes, sum of the change in entropy of the system and the change in entropy of the surrounding. That means in order to consider the delta S total, we should consider the system and the surrounding, because the system transfers either matter or energy to the surrounding. This equation is very important for further derivation of equation. That is delta S total is equal to delta S of the system plus delta S of the surrounding. From thermodynamic point of view, the system and the surrounding constitute the universe. Therefore, for a spontaneous change, the total change in entropy is equal to the change in the entropy of the universe. We know that system and the surrounding both constitute the universe. Therefore, we can modify the equation and write. Hence, it follows that delta S total is equal to delta S of the system plus delta S of the surrounding, which is equal to the delta S of the universe. Thus, the entropy of the universe is always increases during the spontaneous change and tends towards the maximum value. A system attains the maximum value of entropy when it is in a state of equilibrium, because all spontaneous process proceeds in the direction of equilibrium. When equilibrium is attained, the disorder is maximum and consequently the entropy is also maximum. Fill in the blank question. The mathematical condition for entropy to be maximum is that the change in entropy, that is delta S, is equal to 0. That is, when delta S is equal to 0, that is at equilibrium. On the basis of this, the criterion for spontaneity of the process in terms of entropy can be summarized as follows. These 3 points are very important. 1. If delta S total is positive, that is greater than 0, the process is spontaneous in the direction as it is mentioned. 2. If the delta S total is 0, that is delta S total is equal to 0, the process is at equilibrium. 3. If the delta S total is negative, that is delta S less than 0, the process is non-spontaneous in the direction as mentioned. These 3 points, fill in the blank question, can be asked.